Act 4, Scene 1. This is the court scene, and this scene is the climax of the play. It is well known for Portia's mercy speech. The setting is the Venetian court, where Antonio is standing for the trial, as he hasn't paid his loan. The Duke is taking care of the proceedings and he calls Shylock into the court. The Duke is awaiting the arrival of a very learned doctor of law, Dr. Bellario. However, Nerissa enters dressed as a clerk and delivers the letter of Bellario to the Duke, which expresses his inability to attend in person, but he highly recommends a younger lawyer, Balthazar. Portia is invited in and she is in the guise of Balthazar. Portia addresses Shylock asking for mercy. Her appeal falls on deaf ears and she admits she has no option but to uphold the law and grant Shylock his wish. Now let's start with the scene. Venice, a court of justice. Now it's a court here and Duke is asking if Antonio is present there. Antonio says, "Your Grace, I am ready. I am already here." Duke, he says that he feels sorry for Antonio as he had to come and answer a stone-hearted opponent, a person who is incapable of any mercy, a person who is obdurate, who is determined to have his bond. However, Antonio answers the Duke by saying that I have already heard that you have taken great pains to change the mind, to change the rigorous course of action, the court proceedings. But I know that Shylock is obdurate. Obdurate means determined, and that no lawful means can save me, save me out of his envy's reach. I do oppose my patience to his fury. So he says here, I am ready to face his fury with patience. I am prepared to suffer with the quietness of spirit, the very cruelty and anger of his. Now after Antonio's speech, Duke sends someone to go and call the Jew into the court. Now when Shylock enters in, this is the speech given by the Duke. He says here, make room and let him stand before a face. So he wants Shylock to enter. He wants others to make some space so that he can come and stand in front of others. Shylock, the world thinks, and I think so too. So he's telling Shylock that Shylock, see, not only me, even the world thinks that thou but leadest this fashion of thy malice, that this kind of malice or this kind of cruelty that you have is only till the last hour of this act. It is thought or it is believed that you will show your mercy in a very strange manner. He says here, in the next line, he says that we believe rather than taking the penalty from Antonio, you would refuse to accept the penalty that Antonio should pay. Then he says that we believe that you'll not only forgive the penalty, but you'll also forego a portion of the original sum that is borrowed by Antonio. And you'll do that only after looking at his losses with some pity. Shylock, he says that he has already told the Duke what he intends to do. He says that I have sworn by the holy Sabbath to seek the penalty that is due according to his contract with Antonio. Then he says that if you refuse to allow me to do so, your city's charter and its freedom are endangered. You're going to ask me why I'd rather have a pound of decaying flesh than 3,000 ducats. I won't answer that. Let's just say it's because I feel like it. Is that enough of an answer? What if I had a rat in my house and I felt like paying 10,000 ducats to have it removed? Do you have your answer yet? Some men don't like roast pig. Others go crazy if they see a cat. And others they cannot control their emotions when they hear bagpipes. There's no sense trying to explain people's likes and dislikes. So, to your answer to your question, just as there's no clear reason why I hate Antonio or why a person cannot stand a roasted pig or why the other person cannot stand a harmless cat or why a person is unable to tolerate bagpipes, therefore, I won't give a reason of my hatred towards Antonio. Does that answer your question? After this, there's a small argument between Bassanio and Shylock. However, later on, Antonio feels or requests Bassanio not to argue with Shylock. Antonio says to Bassanio, please don't bother arguing with the Jew. You might as well go and stand on the beach and ask the ocean to get smaller. Or you might as well ask a wolf why he killed the lamb and made its mother cry. Then he says you might as well tell the pine trees on the mountains to stop waving their tops where the storm blows through them. You might as well do the impossible rather than try to soften his Jewish heart. It is the hardest thing imaginable. Therefore, Antonio begs Bassanio not to make any more offers. He just wants him to have the punishment and let the Jew take his penalty. Now Bassanio wanted to save Antonio, therefore he offered double the amount to Shylock. However, Shylock told him that even if you would have offered me 6 times that amount, I would not accept it. I would rather have my penalty. At this, the Jew questioned Shylock that how can you ever hope for mercy for yourself when you are not ready to give it or show it to others. Shylock tells the Duke that why should he be afraid of his judgment when he hasn't done anything wrong. Then he says here that many of you own slaves, and you keep them like your donkeys and dogs and mules. You force them to do awful jobs for you, and you make them do it. Why? Just because you have bought them. Should I say to you, set them free, let them marry your children? Why are you making them work so hard? Let their beds be as soft as yours, and let them eat the same food as you. No, you'd answer that. You will tell me that these slaves are yours and that you have bought them. In the same way, the pound of flesh that I want from him is very expensive. It is mine and I am going to get it. If you refuse me, the laws of Venice have no validity. I await justice. So please answer me. Will I get it? At this, Duke tells Shylock that he have the authority to dismiss this court, unless Dr. Bellario comes that day. He is a legal expert, and the Duke had sent for him to act as a judge and help in settling this matter. Salario, who was also present there, says to the Duke that a messenger is waiting outside with a letter from Bellario. He has just come from Padua.